Welcome to another edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews Online. First of all, I would like to, for those living in the London and surrounding areas, I'd like to announce that the winter 2022 issue of Shelf Life is available at many shopping malls, bookstores, and other areas throughout the city. So if you get a chance to pick it up, it has over 55 book reviews. Fiction and nonfiction, so hopefully you'll find it of interest. So now, on to the books. I'd like to draw to your attention two great nonfiction books that are very, very highly recommended. The first book is Going There by KATIE COURIC. This is published by Little Brown and it retails for $38. This is a book that's around 500 pages long. It details KATIE COURIC's life. You will remember her, or most who watch a lot of television, especially morning television, would remember her from the Today Show. She was one of the co-hosts of the show for 15 years. Now, many people have termed her as perky. She always has, a very warm 1,000-megawatt smile, and she's always upbeat. She's not someone who does ambush journalism. And she is fair to those she interviews. So in this book, she tells about her life story, and she's had a very interesting story. When she was younger, she had a crisis with the way she looked. So because of that, she thought she didn't look good enough, so she binged and purged. And she did that for many, many years. And finally, she stopped that behavior, but it's a part of her that she tells in detail. She's not ashamed of, opening up the vault and telling what her earlier years were like. Now, once she got to the Today Show, she was teamed with Matt Lauer, and many of you know how Matt Lauer fell from grace because of the way he intimidated and harassed women. And she doesn't go into a lot of detail, but she does talk about, some of the warning signs and some of the things that he said and did. So, but then she made the bold move of leaving the Today Show, and she hosted CBS Evening News. And it was not something that went over very well. She was there for several years, and she never was really content with that job, and eventually she left that. But then she had her own talk show for 2 years, was a syndicated afternoon talk show, but the book is not just about her life in journalism. She talks about her marriage to Jay Moynihan and the sad and tragic ending to that marriage when he died of colon cancer. And because of that, she actually, on live TV, she had a colonoscopy where they checked her and for, any warning signs of cancer. And after that, hospitals reported many people went to have colonoscopies, to check to make sure that they did not have cancer. So she also talks in the book about one of her housekeepers who was really good in the beginning, but as time progressed, she got very possessive, and it's almost like, she wanted KATIE. It was almost like, she was saying bad things about her husband, and it's just like she wanted KATIE all to herself. So it was a very strange relationship. But her husband, as I mentioned, Jay, died many years ago, and she remarried a few years back. She has 2 daughters, and this book is very comprehensive. Those who know KATIE COURIC and enjoy her work will certainly enjoy this book. It is a book that you should consider purchasing if you want a very honest and open autobiography. The second book of note, and another very, very comprehensive and long book, is Led Zeppelin, the biography by Bob Spitz. This is published by Penguin Press, and it retails for $47 with notes and added pages. It is about 675 pages long. But I remember when I got my first Led Zeppelin album was in the spring of 1969 when the first album came out, and I was intrigued by the cover. I hadn't heard any of their music, but I thought, well, this cover looks interesting. And the music was definitely different. And in the book, the author talks about the band and that first album, how it was received. And Led Zeppelin got the term of heavy metal, which Jimmy Page did not like that term. He called it a bastard term, and they wanted to be known as rock musicians, not heavy metal people. But the book talks about their lives. Earlier in their incarnation, they sold out arenas and venues that had never been sold out before. They were the it group. The Beatles may have been the big band of the 60s. Well, Led Zeppelin in many ways was the big band of the early 70s. And the book also mentions the wild sexual antics, and women wanted Jimmy Page. He was like the god of music. And the book details there were a lot of underage girls who showed up at their hotel rooms, and a lot of underage acts were committed. And so, but that was a part of their past. But there was also the fact that, well, like many rock groups, they were heavily into booze, heavily into drugs, every imaginable drug. And John Bonham, the drummer, he was in many ways out of control. He didn't care what he did, he didn't care what he said. So the author mentions in detail that in many ways he was someone that they tolerated just because he was such a great drummer. And so the other members just, John Paul Jones and Robert Plant just went along with it. And eventually John Bonham, thanks to his drug use, he did end up dead. He died in 1980. And at that point, the band was pretty well gone. Without him, they figured they couldn't go on. So the author really gives us, I know much has been written about Led Zeppelin, but this is definitely the most complete book on the group, and all the negatives, all the bad things are all here, but they also did some good things. They created great music for about a decade, and one of their greatest songs is Whole Lot of Love. Well, this is a whole lot of book. So for those Led Zeppelin and music fans in general, definitely you should seek this book out. So those are the two books that I wanted to draw to your attention this time out. Hopefully you will consider them when you make your book purchases. So as always, I welcome your comments, positive and negative. And I thank you for your time, and I hope you will keep watching Shelf Life video reviews online. So until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay social distancing, and do stay in touch. Bye for now.